Thanks, Mark. I don't mind you using your phone. What I don't like is you using your phone while you're in a hand. If somebody can relay that to him, because he's just given me the old rods.
So heads up to the flop. Chris is crushed here, but will be favourite to win this pot, as he does have the betting lead. When we get flops like this, we've got the stone cold bottom of our range here, so we're going to continue high frequency at the time, and expect Craig just to get out of the way of his sixes here. I'd be very surprised if he continues. Yes, we can have the best hand, but you look at range of hands that Chris should be opening from this position. He's going to have all the broadways, a lot of ace-x. And the thing is, against like the Broadway hands, we're basically near flipping. It's like 55-45 because of the backdoor counterfeit outs and the direct counterfeit outs. So although we can see Craig does have the best hand, I think it's just a lot better to just fold the sixes in this spot, facing a continue. It's just like there's no good run-outs for our hand except for the run-outs that contain a six. Now Chris is going to come in for a check on the turn. Craig going to check behind with the sixes. See a river card. Which is the 10 of clubs. Now action on Chris here. We can see that bet will work, but that's what range of hands we put Craig on that's calling us pre-flop. And Chris does come in for a bet with a 6 higher, playing the board, and actually gets Craig to fold 2 pair. Afternoon, Miko on Twitch, and Tetbury Town Rovers.
Who?
Tetbury Town Rovers. Tetbury Town.
Tetbury Town. Never heard of those.
Weren't much to report, Miko. Asked how Jamie Nixon got on the last table. First session of the day, it's always the quietest. No real big pots, not much fluctuation of chip stacks. But he was involved a bit. No, not really any notable hands.
Has the stream died? Where's the stream? Hold on a minute.
I'm fine.
Are we on? We're on Twitch. And we're on. Let's just go live onto YouTube. Oh, we're wearing. Let's have a butchers.
I'm going to check YouTube. Let's have a look.
You check YouTube first. Yes, wearing round on YouTube. Is it working on Twitch?
Yeah, Twitch is fine, GUKPT site's fine, and YouTube is fine.
Oh, YouTube's fine.
It's just Tower's old laptop.
Oh, like that, is it? Oh, I've spent 20 quid on a new one, so that's it, is it? Yeah, you got one of them touchscreen ones, it's awesome. Here we go, we're on it. Oh, no, it's not live. I'll ask the live now on YouTube. See if we can hear the dulcet tones. There we go, we're on. There you go, you can hear the sound in the background. It is working for me, and it's working for Jay as well, so not too sure what has happened. Alright, dropped. YouTube dropped for seconds, so there we go, we're back now. Thanks, Hanscon, thank you very much. We don't like problems any more than anybody else, and sometimes we have had a fair share of those, but at the moment not bad. And we'll look down to the table and see Mark with the boots, and Harry's got pocket nines.
So you should be checking here with the Jack Deuce, but he may choose to lead after turning top and bottom. Just because we talk about it a lot, it's one of them textured turns that a lot of the time it's going to get checked through. Once a heart rolls up, both players do have flush draws in their range, so it's just one of them spots when we do bet here, we get raised. We're in a pretty gross spot as you can, but lead on this occasion. We're not going to get raised. Mark will call and Harry will make the fold. I'd be very surprised if anything different occurred here. Can't just be folding aces here to 1-bet, getting 3-1 on a call as Mark. I know we can see he's behind here, but we have to call here as Mark with the aces. Getting this price. Wow, he's just let it go. Just knows he's behind. That is some soul read laydown. Third pot, getting 4-1 on his money, and just folds the booties after your clan turns at top and bottom. That's a pretty sicko laydown from the man in seat 9. I most certainly do not fold in that spot. And after that, he's on the move. He's just showed us how to fold aces correctly, and then he said, "That's it, guys, I'm off. I've done my job."
Bring back Jonas, says Dan. Well, we do swap the tables every session, every break, and the next break is the dinner break. End of level 4 in 2 hours' time.
Good afternoon, Paul, in the chat box.
Afternoon, Paul. Oi, Paul. How's things? Hope you're well.
Cheers, Mick. Yeah, everything just seems to be going right at the moment when it comes to tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah, Patrick Antonius did teach me well. Don't you worry about that.
You're playing well, man. How many runners so far, says Alan? There are 67 at this moment in time. £200,000 guaranteed tournament. 100. As it stands now, 133 will be needed to hit the guarantee, but there's all day today, there's tomorrow, and the start of day 2 as well. 304 runners started last year, so we don't think there's any danger that Luton tomorrow will be so busy, and then a few flickered in Saturday morning.
Harry's got a call once here with our gut shot, getting 3-1 on our money with the ace 4. We're getting 4-1 on our money with the ace 4, but no, just thinks better of it. Not getting a direct price, just lets it go. Obviously out of position. Also play on certain turns.
If you do get the live app as well, Poker Live, and you want to click on the details of Luton, there's a new addition, and it's the structure. And what you do is click on the structure, and it highlights what level they're on now, and how long the clock is. So at the moment we're on 75-150. The running ante comes in next, which is the big blind ante. Comes in at level 4, so it now states, highlighted in blue, 75-150, 60-minute clock. Good addition to the live app, and it also tells you that at 6 PM in 3 hours' time, Omaha 4506 starts. £165 buy-in.
So Andre opening ace-3 suited under the gun +1. Harry going to peel the king jack of spades here in the small. Be very surprised if he let this one go.
That's a race coming in, isn't it?
Instead opts for the 3-bet here.
To 900.
That means Craig's now got an easy fold in the pick. And Andre here not going to be folding the ace-3 suited in position. Expect him to peel this deep and play a flop heads up. So heads up to the flop we go, 3-bet pot. Harry with the betting lead, but is out of position. And I'm not going to be saying goodbye to Andre on this flop. 9, deuce, 3, 2 hearts. Harry going to continue here. And Andre should just be calling.
Call. Just call.
He's actually raised here, and that's going to be the end of that. But much prefer a flat there as Andre in position. We've got such a strong hand. We've got such a strong hand, and the good thing about it, the fact that we've got ace-3 there. A lot of Harry's range is made up of ace-x, ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack suited. The small. So a lot of the time we've got him drawing to 2 outs because he can't find his kicker that is of hearts. So a lot of the time we're just going to have a lock on that hand as Andre there in position. Want to keep some bluffs in Harry's range. Want to potentially let him set up some double barrels on turns that are good for his range, but Andre thought better of it, and I guess was happy to just take the pot down there. Harry, another one who is way up our National League. I believe he's in the top 15, so I'm sure we'll see him back in November for the playoff.
Yep, definitely locked up a place. Don't forget you get paid if you go to the playoff. Down in London, everybody locks up £200. So it's well worth the visit because it covers most of your X's. Afternoon if you're watching on Facebook as well. The Facebook GUKPT has the GUKPT Card Room Direct live stream on Facebook. We'll chop in every now and again. Good afternoon, Carrie. Loving the streams. Paul Skinner again. Tracy and Paul are asking why they're not working and watching the live stream. Sneaking a view. That's what they're doing, sneaking a view. Myburn Fraser. How are you, Matt? Hope you're well, pal. There are plenty of ways you can watch it. Oh, hey, careful. Boss is watching. Careful. Boss is sat with the other boss watching. Yeah, shh. He does a great job, that boss. Really good job. Yeah, he does an excellent job. Never fetches. I mean, he fetches the teas now and again, like once a month.
What?
Ever? Once a year.
I cannot recall one tea run.
But you know, there's nothing we can do about that. He's always busy. Always
drinking tea.
So good afternoon on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube under GUKPT website, all for showing the live stream. Good to have you on board, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in Luton. Next GUKPT for us is Blackpool in 3 weeks' time. And Jay's going to be playing the Mini. Anybody else playing the Mini? There's probably around about 300 runners.
Yeah, be busy.
For the Mini in Blackpool. And then what I'll do is celebrate, go out for a drink, and wake up Wednesday and get washed and showered, come to work Thursday. That's what normally happens, isn't it?
Yep, yep, that is it. So we've got a set here for Hassan. Probably only going to get one street here off of Harry, which is going to be his C-bet. And then Hassan here should just be flat in the set. So basically it's a cut-off open, so Harry's range is going to be fairly wide here. He's going to have a high C-bet frequency on this board. So with the fours here, just want to flat, keep a lot of Harry's range in. Not really any bad turns for our hand. So we will take a turn, which is the King of Clubs, potential double barrel candidate for Harry here. If he wanted to start attacking some of the 5x and 4x in the big blind range, start representing that king, but thinks better of it and checks behind. We'll see a river, which is the Queen of Clubs. So Harry gets the check mark, and I'm really surprised Hassan hasn't actually came in for value here. It's going to save him some money. Harry backdooring into Broadway.
Is this the kind? No, it's a 4 of clubs. I'm going to say, is this the kind of bet where you could go 4K to try and just like turn your hand into a bit of a bluff? But he's bet 300 chips over pot size.
So
could we have gone 4K?
I don't know. I like the size here from Harry. I like this.
I like the pot size. Maybe I might have gone a little bit higher.
Like, it's very hard for Hassan to have a flush here, and you think he's going to lead all of his flushes on the river. So we've got the effective nuts in a way as Harry, so we can potentially go large. But we've got to think about Hassan's range. What are we trying to get called by here when we go this size? And it's basically only 2 pair or a set. And Harry shows the ace-10.
The head sinks. No, I've got ace-10.
And it's just unlucky for Hassan there. Not much we can do. Actually, he's probably saved ourselves a bit of money, because I think I'm going to be leading that river quite often there. So initiative told him to check call, and saved him some chips potentially.
What was that just now? Only caught the end. Seems to be ace-3 of hearts against king-jack on a king-king-jack-jack board.
No, it was ace-3 of hearts versus king-jack of spades on a 9-3 deuce 2 heart board. Harry continued, Andrei Veselov raised, and Harry made the fold.
Yeah,
that was the hand pull.
King-king-jack-jack board. It definitely wasn't that was the board. Yeah, he flopped bottom pair and a flush draw did Veselov, and raised it up and lost his customer. That was the one.
So Sanjay going to open under the gun.
So we just pulled up the live stream for the Facebook. So if you want a quick chat, fire away. Oh, Spuddy's watching. Oi oi. Spuddy's watching on Facebook in Vegas. Vegas is there. Did I not? So how you doing, Spuddy? He's in Vegas. He's at his favourite place, the Win, as always. Did you know that Joanne Hindle is in Vegas as well? Joe, who used to be entertainments manager in Blackpool. I think she worked for about 25 years at the Grosvenor in Blackpool. Worked there a lot of years, did Joe. She's in Vegas as well. And also, one of the people we see a lot from Coventry, Catherine Watson's out in Vegas. What's happening in Vegas for everybody to be there? October. That festival's on soon in the Venetian. Boo! We'll have to keep his eye on the numbers for that one. That's if you are in Vegas, would you have a fantastic time in the Win, his favourite place. A lot of people seem to be heading over there. Maybe it is the poker, the festivals that are on. Well, there's the contentious one that's in the Venetian very soon.
Is that the old prize pool one that we covered?
Yeah. We're capping the prize pool and we're keeping the rest. Kind of malarkey. Ah, the Win Classic. That's what he's there for. He's there for the Win Classic. Awesome. Nice little, fantastic trophies that Win. Have you got one of them, Boothie? Them Win Classic, like trophies.
No.
Did you know somebody owned one? I remember. And didn't bring it home because it couldn't fit in the suitcase.
Bradshaw, I think.
Were it Bradders?
Didn't he win the Omaha or something that he had never played before?
That's quite possible in Vegas. Yeah, fantastic trophies. They're like trophies of the building of the actual hotel.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Mark Armstrong
Yeah.
was in Vegas last year, and it was his birthday while he was there, and his kids contacted the hotel.
Oh, right.
Got a cake sent to his room, birthday cake, and when the cake came, the cake was exactly like a trophy.
Is it?
It's the win. They make a cake that looks like the win.
Brilliant.
So I said, hold that cake up, pretend you've won something.
That's brilliant. Now, good luck if you are in Vegas for the Win Classic and other festivals that are going on. Fantastic place. As we know, we were all there in June. Afternoon, whichever platform you are on, including Martin Freight. I'm sure Martin's going to be coming to visit us in Luton if he's not in Vegas. Always plays as UKPT, especially down south, not too far from where he lives.
Copied from the embed on the video playing is the embed of the actual playlist because it's not updated on my site.
7 News. Afternoon, TJ. Terry Jordan. Is he out in the stream watch? Is he out in the field watching, or is he not made the Thursday?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen Terry today, so I'm guessing he's watching from afar. May see him in the field tomorrow, maybe even later today. Usually regular at Luton for the 1K.
He's just posted he might lay range between 7 and 8 and come and smash it. Be good to see you, Terry. Be good to see you. Get yourself to Luton. A lot of players coming in. As it was said earlier, it looks a lot busier in the card room now. It is. Late Reg open all day. A lot of people coming in after work or struggling down the M1.
You have to go into the icon.
Nice one, buddy. Spuddy's off for his breakfast.
Go to my channel.
All the best in the Win Classic, mate, and we'll speak to you soon. Love to everybody. Afternoon, Aaron. Good luck all. Can't beat a Luton GUKPT. Oh, what about the winner of the mini main? Drayton.
Yeah, Drayton, Haxiadge.
It's like you in Luton. You own it. You and him. You just own it. Wins the mini main. 2 finals here he's won. Oh, this guy's a legend in Luton. You seen this? Touchscreen, everything.
How much it cost?
20 quid. Just don't smash that one.
So Hassan free betting the jacks to 1.1, and Andre here with ace deuce suited should be going into the mark unless he's thinking cold 4. But there's the fold from Andre, and that should be it. Can't see Nathan getting out of line with the 10-9 here. Nathan's going to get out of line with the 10-9. And we're going to go heads up to the flop.
Three, 4, 5 flop. 2 spades. Does Nathan continue? Always good to see Nathan Lee playing down in the south. Always plays Luton and always plays London.
Well, Nathan's actually going to come in for a donk lead here into Hassan's range that has all the overpairs in it. So should just be done with the hand pre-flop when we get free bet with 10-9 off. Probably a dubious open in itself. It should just be mucked before the open. But if we do happen to get to this flop, we shouldn't be putting another penny in. It should be hand over. And Hassan coming in for a raise now with the jacks. And should just be calling us Hassan. Once facing this donk, Nathan will have 5s, 4s, 3s all in his range here. Some 6, 7 suited, some ace deuce suited as well. And we just want to keep bluffs in as well that Nathan can potentially have, as we can see here. But not too sure what's going on this hand. Seems like every decision is the opposite of what you'd expect them to make. And Nathan has no choice but to fold here though, and Hassan going to take that one with the jacks. Opting to raise the overpair on the flop in a 3-bet pot.
Chase Evans on Facebook says, "Are we near Southampton? He hasn't seen the schedule. The closest main event would be London, or even Luton.
London's closer.
Yeah, London's closest. Yeah. The 25-25 hits Southampton next year in September. And there's one in Portsmouth, which is pretty close, in January. That's close to Southampton. So that will be your closest 25-25. There's 2 in Portsmouth before Southampton. And the deep stacks then roll on as well. There is a deep stack in Southampton in January, 17th and 19th of January. Next year, Southampton deep stack. All the details on the website, GUKPT.com. It's on the homepage. 2010 is scheduled for the main events, the Goliath. Though the schedule's not there for the Goliath, but the dates are. 25-25s and the 25-50s and the deep stacks are all on the website as they were posted up a couple of days ago. If you want to check out all the details, check it out. But no main events near Southampton. London the closest, and the London one in just over a month's time will be enormous.
Nathan's came to play 9-8 off this time, opening under the gun +1, and once again same customer, Hassan, on his direct left. This time with 7s, just opts to flat, and Sanjay going to come along with Queen 10, and Chris in the small here. We've got a pretty slam dunk squeeze against Nathan. Opening a lot of pots, so expect Chris to bump it up to around 1.5k here. It's gone 2k, like it, big size in. Going to be out of position, small blind. We're happy to take the pot down here with ace queen. So quick fold from Nathan. Now action on Hassan here with the 7s. Probably just going to have to fold the 7s here as Hassan. Now we can see we're in a flip situation, but Chris repping a big hand out the small. I think 8s he'd probably call, 6s he'd probably just let him go, like 7s right on the line here. Chris playing a stack of 15k behind, so we are still fairly deep, 100 odd bigs deep. Do have position. But Chris isn't going to be getting out of line here. Like, he's not going to have deuces through 6s here. So basically, as Hassan, we're either going to be in a coin flip situation, or we're going to be drawing to 2 outs against Chris's perceived range, and it's just going to make the call. And Sanjay got an easy fold now with a Queen 10, and we're going heads up to the flop. Chris gets a lovely flop for his hand. Top pair, top kicker. Oh, the Queen 10 off Sanjay would have flopped top 2. So Chris should be continuing here somewhere around 1.6. That sort of size, third pot in a 3-bet pot here. May go a pinch larger because he's out of position, somewhere closer to his original squeeze size, 2k. But I don't mind going like 1.6 here, third pot.
I didn't have 100 chips, so I went 1.5.
It's about 1.5, and now Hassan, we got a clear fold here as the 7s. Yes, we have position, but there's not much else going for us this hand. We're just going to have to let it go, and even if we are ahead, let's say Chris has a hand like Ace King here. Ace King's going to have 10 outs against us twice. We're like 55% against that hand, so we've either got 8% or we've got around 55% equity, and just going to have to let that go. And he does. It's a nice little pickup from Chris.
Nathan Griffin on YouTube says, is there anything on in the Sunderland area anytime soon? Stockton Deep Stack is next weekend, 18th until the 20th of October. That's as close as you can get. Newcastle has a deep stack in December, but nothing directly in Sunderland. But Stockton next weekend is the deep stack. And Newcastle also have their 25-25 on the last weekend of October. 31st of October till the 3rd of November is the Newcastle 25-25, and on the 3rd of November GUKPT Blackpool starts. Plenty going on. GUKPT.com for all information.
So Harry chooses to check on the flop after flopping trips, but we'll be coming in for a bet now after it's been checked behind from Craig, and that will be that. Does he look like a Rich Kellett? He looks a bit like Rich Kellett, Craig, in seat 3. Just thinking about it, not snap folding with 9 high. Eventually does get out of the way. So early stages, level 3 of the day here in Luton, £200,000 guaranteed prize pool. We've got 10 levels today and another whole day one tomorrow, and then coverage all the way through till Sunday when we will crown an eventual winner.
So back to the action. We're just looking at the flop, and what a flop. 8, 10 queen, 2 spades, 9, 10 of spades for Nathan. Bit of a brick on the turn against top pair, top kicker with the redraw, but the redraw's missed.
Yeah, Hassan wants to be coming in for a second bet here, wants to be sizing up a bit more as well, want to probably go around the 1.4k, 1.5k, around 3/4 pot now. Very wet ball, we got top pair, top kicker. He's going to be the best hand, but there's a lot of rivers that are bad for our hand. So it does bet and gets a call from Nathan. And this is actually a great river, not only in the fact that Nathan has bricked, but in the fact that Nathan now is probably going to have to call us off, but Nathan's actually came in for a donk here for 725. So a little blocker bet here, and Hassan going to come in for a raise for value.
For a session again.
live, it's running the last session. Check it on YouTube. Same.
Hassan comes in for a very, very small raise here now, makes it 2.3, and this is just never a bluff. When you're raising river and giving your opponent this kind of price, it's just very rarely a bluff here. And Nathan looks like he's gonna flick it in just because of what's in the pot. I guess that's his thought process, getting 6-1 on the call here.
Made a new video.
So it does flick it in, and going to get the bad news.
A new video 35 minutes ago. It's not in the playlist. So if we add that to the playlist, and then we refresh, it should work.
Sanjay opening the King Queen to 400, and Nathan peeling the 10-9 suited in the small, and we're going heads up to the flop. King 7-5 rainbow. It's a great flop for Sanjay. Top pair, good kicker on a fairly dry board, so want to be coming in for a bet here. Start trying to get some value from our hand. Unfortunately, Nathan with just 10 high. Just will get out of the way, and that will be that. Okay, Nathan looks like he's going to come in for a raise here on King 7-5 after calling out the small blind. We're basically only repping sets of 7s and sets of 5s here. We can't have King 7 suited because from Sanjay's perspective we have the King of Hearts in our hand, and the only combo of King 7 and King 5 suited is of Hearts. So basically when Nathan raises this flop, he's only repping a set for value, which isn't always going to raise on a rainbow board. So it just seems very bluffy. So Sanjay's just probably going to station him down here. 8-6 did just get there on the turn. That is a bluff that Nathan can have on this flop. But against this particular opponent, from what I've seen in about space of half hour, I don't think there's any situation where we're going to let this one go. I think we're just going to call the whole way. Just going to have to station down, and that's a great river card for our hand as well, because now it makes a set of 5s less likely. And it's a complete give up from Nathan, and he shows the 10-9 suited. And well played from Sanjay there. Didn't panic, didn't free bet the flop, just understood that want to keep bluffs in our opponent's range. Their value range is so thin, so just better to just call the whole way down. And see you at showdown.
So if anybody was having any problem with the stream and you can hear us talking, I'll just have a refresh, because there's some kind of loop ended up in the middle of the playlist, but not anymore. Just a refresh. So if anybody's watching on Twitch, everything, I don't know why, but it's, everything went onto a loop. We're all good now. C4, good afternoon. Battle of Malta he is off to. Another package one for the poker tourist. Oh, I never saw. How did your sit and go? I was on holiday. I was having a few days in the sun. What happened? How did you get on, Asif? How did you get on? Oi oi, Yamo's in the building. Flop of 2, 3, 5, 2 hearts. Top pair. Top pair on Sanjay. And an up and down straight draw. Course is a good shot.
Queen of clubs rolls off on the turn. Check, check. In the river.
Queen of hearts on the river.
Carlos should check this behind. We do actually still beat some hands that Andre can have after he calls this flop out of the big blind. So we do actually have some showdown here with our ace jack. And there's the check behind.
Yep. So C4 didn't win the package you wanted. What did you win?
Yeah, that usually comes with but.
Yeah. What did you
But
win?
I did win this.
But I won £30,000. What did you win? I saw that you won a package to the Battle of Malta next week. See you there. Even Jay's thinking of coming. You thinking?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think?
could be on the cards, most certainly. It's don't know, it's a hard one because we get back from here, don't we? Get back Monday,
Yeah.
fly out Tuesday or Wednesday
Or Thursday.
or Thursday.
There's loads of day ones.
Yeah,
It's tough, isn't it?
It must be tough having to like wonder whether to sleep for 2 days or go to Malta.
yeah, that's it.
And
That's
try and
that's
win
the,
70 grand.
that's the problem we got. That is the problem we got right now. But I'm sure by the end of this weekend I'll know what I'm doing. It's
Good lad.
anyone that knows me, I'm not very good at making a decision.
Mum, what's he like?
I'm terrible. It's last minute all the time what I'm doing.
Do you want mint sauce on your lamb or not? No, hold on a minute. I don't know.
So Craig chooses to continue here with the King Queen. Big advocate for when we open and we flop sort of second pair on a board like this where there's no bad turn cards for us really. It's always good to check back, especially against a big blind range as well. Just for a bit of deception, we can induce bluffs on later streets as well. 5 on the turn. So now this should go check check. I'd be very surprised if Craig tried to come in for a second street here. You think about Sanjay's calling range on the flop, it's basically Ace X, Queen X, 5X and maybe some Broadway draws. But the King Queen just gets there on the river as Craig and Sanjay gonna have to pay this one off. simply because you don't expect Craig to be betting too many Queen X on the flop. A lot of them are more clear checks. So that's why Sanjay's actually coming in for value now here with his ace 10. He believes he has the best hand, but he's about to get the bad news here when Craig bumps it up. So there's a raise, and now Sanjay going to have to fold. In these spots, guys, where you can be very Queen X heavy and your opponent raises you, they've just never got a bluff. They have to have the Queen themselves because Sanjay has a lot of Queen X in his range. He's never taken that line as a bluff there, so the ace 10 just becomes a pretty clear fold. Always be aware of what your perceived range is from your opponent's perspective. Mick, I'm not sure if I'm going yet. He asked if I'm staying for the Malta Poker Festival after the Battle of Malta, but I'm not sure if I'm going yet. It will come down to how I feel on Sunday, to be honest with you. That's basically what it's down to. If I feel like going, I'll fly out there. If I don't, I won't.
As simple as that.
Simple as that.
So C4 the Battle of Malta Passage from 17th to 22nd of October, and then he's won another one for the 30th to the 4th of November. So what to do for the 8 days in between is his question. Afternoon, Fizz.
Afternoon, Mark.
Hope things are well. Surprised you're not on the riverbank fishing. You could be. Might be watching it while he's fishing. He's took up fishing, apparently, rather than golf. I don't know why. Maybe he's got no mates to play golf with you, and fishing you just do on your own. That's probably why.
So Chris facing a free bet here from Hassan with the A7 of diamonds in the cut-off, and Chris looks like he wants to pill. And we'll be going heads up to the flop.
Chris has his cards in the box, just not showing at the moment. King, deuce, 6, 2 spades. Here's 7 of diamonds. Whiffs it all. Chris checks.
We want to be continuing here as Hassan. Once we free bet the A7 of diamonds, the King 6 deuce board, we're going to get a lot of folds. Don't need to go too big. Somewhere around 1.2 is fine. And Chris now unaware of his holding here. Think a range of hands he's going to have. He's going to have 7s through queens here. We'll have some King X in there, King Queen, King Jack and King 10 suited will be pills as well. We'll have some flush draws, Ace X of spades are a possibility. Some Queen Jack of spades, Jack 10 of spades.
We just call the 80 clubs on the turn.
So if I'm Hassan now, this is where I'm going to be slowing down with the A7. It's just a no equity hand, so if we sort of barrel here, like it's basically just a range barrel and we're just trying to fold out sort of queens through 7s that Chris has, and some flush draws against a particular sizing, I guess. But a lot of the time I'm just going to be done with the hand with A7 here as Hassan. Like Chris is going to be fairly King X heavy.
And 10 of clubs on the river. After it goes check, check.
And as well, Chris can have aces here. He can have aces, he can have some traps, he can have kings as well. Like Chris, a very good player. He's always going to mix it up. Not always going to be 4-betting his aces and kings. He can most certainly have those hands in this spot.
Chris's option.
Chris is bet 5.5k here, so potentially could have aces or kings. I think actually kings is going to go a lot smaller because it's very difficult for Hassan to have a king X type hand. But I think this for Hassan, I'm just folding here almost always. We're basically we lose to some bluffs as well. We lose to hands like ace ten of spades here, and so we're just going to have to let this one go as Hassan. Like Chris can have king queen, he can have king jack suited, king 10 suited, two combos of that, ace king that he didn't decide to 4-bet, aces, sets of sixes, sets of deuces, sets of eights, sets of tens. There's so many value hands that Chris can actually have in this spot as Hassan, so we just got to be folding here. It looks like he's going to hero. I know we can't see Chris's cards, but I'd be very shocked if he heroes here and we're ahead. I just think this one's a pretty clear fold on the river once we get to this. Chris has just got a catalogue of value hands here that he can have in this spot. Like, yeah, sometimes he'll spin over the jack 10 of spades, queen jack of spades. But more often than not, he's going to spin over a hand that is the goods. And he's going to take that pot down. Never, don't know what he had.
We're going to ask him.
I'll find out.
You will find out at the break.
We will find out for you guys.
We will find out the answer.
Try to add you to this film.
So we've got about 5 minutes left on the clock at this level, and then we're going to move into level 4 of the day. Big blind ante will be coming into play, and then after that we do head out on the hour dinner break. So you can't thinking about this one. We should just be calling with the deuces here. Not really too many other options. Wow, just lets them go. Thought better of it. Wow, has he just passed deuces to a single open from Craig there? Yeah, I'm almost certainly always calling deuces there in a small versus a single open. Perhaps he knew. 8-6-3 at the flop, so king high of Craig actually still the best hand here. Top pair of Craig, sorry. King 8. So he'll bet, and that will be that. Carlos just can't continue here with queen jack. Does have two overs, backdoor diamond, backdoor straight draw, but out of position. It's a more viable candidate for a float in position, this hand, but I think out of position Carlos may just let it go, but I'm gonna flick in a call, see if he can potentially get lucky and find a queen or jack on the turn like that. And this is bad news for Craig, because as Craig, you just don't expect Carlos to have any jack X here once he calls flop. Like, it's only really jack X of diamonds and the jack X at turn 2 pair, like jack 8. So this is actually a really bad card for Craig, in the fact that this shouldn't really change much a lot of the time. When you think about Carlos's calling range on the flop, it shouldn't really contain too many jacks. But in this certain scenario, he decided to float out of position with just queen high and found a lucky turn card. And the deuce of diamonds on the river. So this will go check, check. Craig can't be coming in for value here with the king 8. I think on a brick river, like an offsuit deuce, I would have loved to see a value bet from Craig, but on this particular river, we just got to check, and you see Craig's face there, like, how you got queen jack here? He just says, keep flighting me out of position with that hand, and I'll keep making money long term. A bit unlucky. Can't be results orientated. We're going to win that pot, the lion's share of the time, against Carlos there in that scenario. sometimes bad plays do get rewarded. It's a fun thing about this game. Harry makes it 4-2-5. And Chris should be defending this hand in the big blind. And it does, and we're going to go heads up to the flop, which is a Jack 10-8 rainbow. So Chris will play and flow. He'll check over to Harry, and Harry, I think I'll lean more towards check here with the Ace King against a big blind range. It's going to be very wide, and Harry does check. And there's 7 on the turn, potential lead spot here for us as Chris if he wants to take it with equity to a higher straight. Once Harry checks back turn, checks back flop, like a lot of the time he's going to have a hand like he does Ace King, Ace Queen. He's going to have some 10x in there, the Queen 10s, King 10s, Ace 10s. They're pretty clear checks on the flop as well. 8-9 suited. Going to be a check as well on the flop, so he can actually potentially have a straight here as Harry 9s as well, but we're just going to have a lot more straights here as Chris calling out the big blind than Harry is opening under the gun, and Chris is well aware of that, so Harry going to call the 200, but I'm expecting, especially after Harry's Hollywood there, to see a potential double barrel from Chris, not on this river. Ace Queen, part of Harry's range. Ace King obviously now makes top pair, so Chris does wave the white flag. I think on a 6 or lower, a brick river would have seen Chris come in for the double barrel there, but this is a lot better card for Harry's range than it is for ours as Chris. Lovely, thank you.
71 in the mix now. 71.
Might finally be able to play the free rolls tower.
You've not logged in and signed in, have you? Get you with your new laptop. Oh.
After flicking a satellite for Malta.
Absolutely. Final one's on Sunday.
Won't be able to then.
Final one is on Sunday for the Battle of Malta on Grosvenor Poker. We'll be getting some information from the online team regarding what is happening over the weekend while we're in Luton.
Blinds are now up. We're playing 1 and 2. It's going to be next hand, and big blind man ante will be in play. As Andre finds kings in the low jack, makes it 400 to go, and Carlos with the 6s on the button. He's got an easy peel here. Make the call. Ace 9 7. We're 1 for 1. There you go, tower. Today, kings and an ace on the board.
There you go.
So Andre going to start with a check, like it. And Carlos is going to check behind. Is it a turn card?
Yeah, Andre can not do much but check. Carlos does exactly the same. I did say last time I saw Carlos that he didn't have a hat on. He's gone back to the hat. There he is.
It's blind on blind here. Harry with ace jack. Saw him raise the ace 5 earlier, so I'm assuming he's going to come in for a raise here. It's very blind on blind. People tend to opt for different strategies. Some people like to complete 100% of their continue range in the small. Harry going to come in for a raise here with the ace jack. Room slowly starting to fill up, and poker players starting to get out of bed,
They are
venture
indeed.
into the casino.
They're stuck on the M1 and now they're making their way across. It will always increase, but that's the nature of having an all-day buying. You don't normally get a full start. You don't normally get full tables to start with, but they just filter on through all day long.
So you can, with the 8s in the low jack, makes it 500 to go, and Harry
Wakes up.
with the ace king, incoming 3-bet, probably going to make it somewhere around 1.4k here, would be the standard size I've seen most people opt for, just below 3x. It does come in for a 3-bet, 1.3, which is fine, and you can just going to peel the 8s here at a position, and we'll be going heads up to the flop.
Nine, queen, 4, 2 spades. You can. You can. Bet.
Nah, he's going to be checking here tower. Should be
Yeah.
playing in flow, and Harry going to come in for a c-bet. Half of that c-bet going into Chris's stack, and you can now just going to have to fold the 8s, and merit of having the betting lead there. You see, getting the best of it to fold.
889. The ladies flop. That'd have been a nice flop last time. Wouldn't have been folding the ace then.
Yeah. It's Nathan, chip leader at the table, 35k. Not much been happening so far again this session.
No.
Nathan sort of came out the blocks running for the start of the session, opening a lot of hands, getting involved with a lot, taking some fruity lines, but it seems to have taken his foot off the pedal a bit the last half hour or so, which is good to see. Sort of understands that needs to slow down a little rather than just bleeding chips.
How's the tea?
Yeah, it's nice little cup of tea.
Nice. Might need some jelly babies or something.
She might have done that on purpose, but she knows I don't like jelly babies, so
No
yeah, that's
way.
why. Yeah.
Oh, bliss.
I'm guessing it was on purpose. Know exactly what she's like.
Yeah. Still looks after you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and does your washing and tidies your room. Yeah. Making sure there's no hairdressing going on. Oh, yes. We know what it's like, yeah. So, yeah, so a very quiet table. I know we go on about laughing and joking and having a lot of banter, and some people on the phones don't chat, but it's also got to do with the personnel at the table as well.
Mm.
You do need a couple of characters at the table for everybody else to get involved. Yes, years and years ago, I suppose there were more laughing and joking, but there are also quiet times at the table. Not everybody likes to chat away. On the final table of Biggie soon. I'm having lessons off Jay. Gonna do something. Yeah. Omaha starts in 2 hours' time if you fancy a game at Omaha. 4506, 2 hours of lay reg. We just crept over the 70 mark for the main event. That's been a bit quiet, but it'll get busier.
Well, we thought we were going to struggle in Leeds, but we almost tripled the amount of entries on day 1B that we had on day 1A, which was unheard of. And it looks like the trend's continuing in Luton. Fairly quiet day 1A here. I think all that's to do with a lot of people that play recreationally and have jobs obviously prefer coming down on the Friday and then just staying for the whole weekend rather than travelling up Thursday and then going back home and coming back on Saturday. I think it's a big factor.
Yeah, back in the day when X's didn't matter, everybody had spare money. Used to stay for the week. Well, the days have long gone, unfortunately.
Wow, this
Oi, oi.
is action, and Carlos has flopped both of his opponents nigh on dead here, but the problem is Chris with a nut flush draw here, so if a club rolls off on turn or river, Chris could get himself in some trouble potentially. And this we saw twice earlier on today.
Oh,
wow.
straight in.
Wow.
Straight in. This could be catastrophic for Chris Maguire.
Yeah, this is a cooler, and Chris is on the wrong end of it. But I like Chris's decision to flat flop. We spoke about it earlier with two people elected to raise their flush draws. These early stages of the day when you're 100 plus big Steve, it's fine to just call, play your draws passively. You're going to have so much time throughout the day to find your spots, and unfortunately for Chris here, after making his flush, he's going to lose a lot of chips in this pot. There's no other way of saying it.
Carlos has made it 1.2 half pot. Chris staring over at Carlos. Looks like Gray's coming in. No, just a call. He keeps it relatively small. Does the river make a difference? It's the ace of diamonds. How big does Carlos go on this river?
Wow, Carlos just came in for a check here.
Wowzers.
Wow. And now Chris is just going to feel like he's got the best hand here almost always once Carlos checks. Like, I think a lot of the time Carlos's range here, what might be going through Chris's head is like 8 through kings, open under the gun and just going bet, and then checking once an overcard rolls off on the river to check call. So Chris may choose sort of a small size because of that. Like, Carlos can't have like an ace of clubs here, because obviously we've got it in our hand. So like,
that's never 1,000. 1,000. Is he expecting a bet raise?
Well, I think it's just to do with what I said, Tao. Like, once Carlos checks his river here, like, a lot of the time you just expect him to have hands like 8 through kings with a club that double barreled, and then they just have to cry call this 1,000. But
makes it 4.2 and a snap call, and Chris just nods his head, and he shows the ace jack of clubs.
Yeah, a bit of a call there from Chris, but he's actually lost probably the bare minimum in that part.
Was the 1k to induce a raise? Thinking he's got the best hand? Could have
potentially been to induce from Carlos. Carlos known to get out of line every now and again, so potentially it could have been to induce, but I think it comes down to once Carlos checks that river, like, what hands is he supposed to have here that can call us. Because he can't have the ace of clubs that's just gone barrel because we've got it in our hands. So it's like a lot of the time it just looks like 8 through kings, and that might have gone through Chris's head. That may have been why he went so small, to try and get a cry call from those hands. It's to induce as well, maybe, but not much the man can do on that one. It's just a call up, a nut flush versus a boat, and done well not to lose more, if anything.
Yeah, that could have been a potential biggie. I actually played it really well now you're thinking about it, to lose the bare minimum.
That's what this game is, so when you're behind, lose the minimum. When you're in front, get the maximum. Putting it in layman's terms, that's all this game is.
Miko number 1 is off to Malta on the 30th of October. Won a package from a flip free roll.
It's not bad, is it? Flip free roll.
He said he played well.
He played well.
That's my kind of skill level.
Tower is a free roll boss. I've seen him play.
Yeah.
The amount of times this guy gets dealt aces in a free roll is unheard of. So back to the action. Nathan opening ace 9 suited. Andre comes in with a free bet with ace queen on the button, like it, and you can hear queen 7 in the big. Should be going into the muck. Sure, you can fold deuces to a single open in the small earlier on, and now it looks like he wants to play the old queen 7 here, and unless this is a 4 bet, it is a 4 bet from you can. So the man has came to play. Obviously, the reason he's 4-betting this spot, guys, it must just be he's aware that Nathan has been getting out of line pre-flop this session quite a bit, and he'll know that Andre's aware of that, so Andre can potentially 3-bet a bit lighter, so I'm guessing you can, because of that reason, he's taking this 4-bet spot. And obviously it looks so strong, especially from Andre's perspective. You can hasn't done anything out of line this whole session so far. It's been fairly solid, playing fairly tight poker. So Andre in a bit of a spot here with the ace queen, and if he does let this one go, I can't blame him for folding. I'm probably going to let this one go here as Andre. Yeah, I like the fold there from Andre on the button. I know we can see he's got his opponent drawing to 3 outs, but we can see the cards, guys. Andre can't. He'd just be aware that your can's been very, very solid. He's been playing fairly tight all session. So we haven't got any information that tells us that he's going to have a 4-bet bluff in that spot. So we just got to let the ace-queen go, because for value, he's never 4-betting the ace-jack. So a lot of the time we're just in the crush spot of ace-queen and hoping for a flip. So Andre letting that one go. May seem like a very tight fold, ace-queen suited on the button in position, but it comes down to how your can's been playing this whole session, and that is very tight, and shows he does have moves in the locker there with that one though. Little 4-bet bluff. You got that in your arsenal, Tower, the old 4-bet with the queen 7?
Absolutely not. Thought it was a computer hand. I thought he was supposed to always pass the queen 7.
Yeah, the old computer hand. The 9-4-3, the flop. Hassan got an easy continue here, and Carlos should just be getting out of the way. We've seen him float once already out of position with a hole in that should go into the muck already this session, so he may elect to do it again, but should just be folding in this particular spot with the ace-8 facing a continue from Hassan, and that does let that one go.
Only 3 players under starting stack. All very levels. Around about 5:15 in the afternoon, there will be the dinner break of 60 minutes. So 10 see a Jack Queen King flop. So he goes check, check, check on the turn as well. And the Queen is the best of it. But he's checked all the way down. What a flop for the 10s. He had outs, but wasn't the best. Afternoon, everybody. Whichever platform you are watching on, we are here. If you want to watch it, here's the details. Facebook is Grosvenor Poker. It's live on there. Yeah, at Grosvenor Poker on Twitter, and there's our handles underneath, and then / GUKPT on YouTube and Twitch. All details on there. If you want to interact with us, follow us on Twitter and we'll answer any questions. So too the chat boxes. We have all chat boxes open.
Sanjay finds the ladies in the low jack after a limp from Nathan under the gun +1, so want to be coming in for an ISO hit.
So we've gone 4-way to the flop somehow, as Andre has decided to flat with queens. Ace, Jack, 7. Can't see Harry's cards, unfortunately. Or, for whatever reason, Nathan's. Andre then bets 300. It's called by Sanjay with a good shot. Harry gets out of the way, and Nathan looks like he comes along for the ride, which he does. 4 of clubs on the turn. Nathan could easily have ace 5, ace 6 here. He decides to check. No, checked all the way around. On the river, the 6 of clubs. Now Nathan bets out. It's like 1.2, is it? 1.1.
We got the worst hand to call with here as Andre. The fact we got queens with the queen of diamonds, we reduce from a card removable perspective flush draws that Nathan can have and Broadway draws. So like it's actually better to call here with a hand like Jack 9 than it is queens in Andre's spot like Jack 9 no diamond. I think Andre, especially with Sanjay behind as well, I think we've got to let this one go as Andre. Like Nathan here can quite easily have an ace-X type hand. And
nice
I like the fold, and Sanjay's going to fold as
not
well.
Not going to see.
We'll never know.
I would say ace-rack for Nathan.
Alright, mate, you're right, Tower. He limped early position.
Yeah.
Seen him do that with some reggae aces, limp call. So I think story checks out. A little reggae ace, maybe river 2 pair or turn 2 pair.
Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, this is Luton, GUKPT leg 7. Leg 8 in 3 weeks' time is Blackpool, and then 2 weeks later it is London for the final leg of the season. King Iron flop. King Deuce 9. Yet again, Hassan's card's not showing. We need to have a word with the guys.
So we've got a clear bet here now, as you can. Once flops check through, and then Hassan checks to us twice. Our tens are just going to be the best hand. A lot of the time it's very unlikely Hassan's checking a King X type hand twice here. So we can start getting some value from some potential like pairs he can have in there, like 8s, 6s, 5s. Maybe some 9x that choose to check back flop, like ace 9's in there, 9-10 suited, 8-9 suited as well. So Hassan gonna check, and you should be checking behind here with the tens. It's a bit too thin to come in for another street of value here. Now we do actually go behind to some 7x that would check flop, that didn't elect to c-bet, caught a pair on the turn and check called. So if we do come in for value, as you can here, we're only trying to get called by 9, and maybe some pairs in between like 8, 6s, 5s. So and we can potentially value own ourselves some of the times against jacks and queens. Hassan was the opener pre-flop. May elect to check twice with those hands. Makes more sense than their King X type hand. So you can here thinking about potentially coming in for some value. But I just think the range of hands we're trying to get called by is a bit too small. Like if this river wasn't a 7 and it was a brick, then maybe it's still probably a bit too thin. But I'd be very surprised if he does come in for the thin value here in this spot. I'm just checking behind, and a lot of the time the pot's coming my way. And there we go.
Flick in the muck from Hassan. So 30 minutes to go till the end of the sesh.
G. Weldon says, who are the Luton regs to watch out for in the main?
Graham, Drayton.
Yeah, Drayton.
I don't think he's playing today. He'll probably be playing tomorrow.
I've seen.
Have you seen him?
No, not Drayton.
No.
I've seen a few good faces in
Tony
the field
Ringe
already today. You got Sam Goodman's in the field. Chris is obviously in the field, who's on this table here. I know Ryan Mandara and Ben are both in the field. They travel around together. There's definitely a few notable faces in the field today. A lot of the young guns I see a lot more young guns coming through every tournament we play to our new, like, more younger faces, like 20 years old, getting into the game early age, which is great to see, because it just means numbers are going to keep increasing year on year out.
So now you're getting that old that you can start to see the young guns coming through who look younger than you. Is that what
I'm
you're saying?
halfway off 50, Tower. I'm halfway off 50. Look at you like that. No, I do what I've already lived, and I'm at 50. There you go. It's getting old. Can't do things that I used to do, like get a child train ticket.
Dave Morton, Luton at regular. King Deuce Deuce on the flop. So yeah, again, there must be a card that's not registered. But every time there's a hand, there's one missing.
So Chris continues in the cut-off. And gets some resistance from Nathan. I expect Chris to check back here a large proportion of his range against this particular opponent that can have most the deuce X in the big blind. Like, even if we've got like the top of our range here, like his aces, can still get put in a grow spot by Nathan if he does come in for the old check raise. But Chris is going to come in for another street of value here, so maybe Chris can have a deuce here actually. He can have ace deuce suited opening in the cut off. He'd probably open ace deuce off as well. But once he comes in for the...
When it fires out, when it pairs a 10.
So about 1.3k from Nathan here.
And a call.
And Chris will make the call.
Yeah, we're going to see Chris's hand because it'll be the winner. It isn't.
No, it won't. It won't be the winner.
The king, the two pair, bigger two pair. So it must have been an ace that Chris was playing. Age is the price of wisdom. Like that. Like that a lot. Age is the price of wisdom. Chris pocket fours raises to 500 with blinds at 1, 2 and a big blind ante. This time it's Nathan's turn not to have his card shown for whatever reason it is. Hassan's not playing the Walsall nuts. Or is he going to defend? They are suited.
Yeah, I'm defending here 100%. With the 6-3 suited, 2.5x open, there's a call in the small, we're getting a better price on our money. Always say of closing the action against a 2.5x open. You can flop a straight flush. Nothing wrong with peeling. He loves a donk lead, Nathan. He's been donking a lot this session into the aggressor. And Hassan will make the call with his bottom pair. That means Chris can fold the fours. So queen on the turn. Nathan coming in for the double barrel. And we've got no option but to fold here as Hassan with the 6-3. I know Nathan has been playing very erratic, but there's better hands that we can choose to continue with. And Hassan actually going to come in for a raise here. Really not a fan of this one, Tower. I just think even if we get the fold here, I just think long term this is going to lose us money, this play. We've got bottom pair, we've got no redraw. Nathan's donked flop and then carried on with his aggression on the turn. Wow, it actually works.
The 6-3 and also nuts defending.
I don't know if he picked up on something on Nathan there or whatnot, but it's not a hand that you usually choose to bluff with on a turn. A lot.
Yeah. Dave spotted that there's a couple of cards not showing on the reader. So we'll have a change of deck, please. Thank you.
That's been a fun session, this one. There's been a lot of plays that you wouldn't usually see, and some dubious lines, but good watch. Just taking that one away from him with bottom pair.
So King 10 for Sanjay sees a flop of 6 Jack 4 after Craig in the cut-off cold with Ace 3 suited.
Yeah, so Craig once checked him, he's going to choose to continue here. Really surprised Sanjay didn't continue this flop. It's actually a really good board for us to continue after being the opener under the gun. We've also got some nice backdoor draws as well. But now we've just given up the betting lead and just going to have to get out of the way facing Craig's bet.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Cars. Going back to what K in 1987 said, how can people be allowed on phones after the whole Mike Postle cheating scandal? Well, Mike Postle was playing cash. He had a hat on with a buzzer inside it, and he was looking down at his lap all the time. Allegedly, he's been cheating. Yeah, it's not good for anybody in the game to be cheating, but it's got nothing to do with what we're doing. Everything's running a tournament, and we just carry on as normal. If we see somebody holding his head and feeling a buzz in his heart and looking down at his lap for the next 3 days, we'll have a word. And if Jay can pick out some of the action that's a little bit, if he 5 bets with 5-4 and it's good, then we'll let you know. But we're not going to get into the issue of Mike Postle because it's all alleged stuff and it's nothing nothing we do compares to anything that he's done, and one person won't ruin anything what we do on the live streams. Can't really say too much about it, obviously, but that's, in my eyes, it's completely different.
Yeah, cheers, Jakey, for that. The Ace-3 suited hand was a free bet. That makes a lot more sense why the King 10 didn't continue, because he didn't have the betting lead. Lee says, good raise he picked up on weak betting. I'm guessing you mean the 6-3 hand on the King Queen Jack. Yeah, at the time, like it's a good raise in the short term. Obviously, that particular hand it worked, but over the long term, that play is going to lose you money. So you need some sort of specific soul read that your opponent's barreling with air to actually make that play. But yeah, in the long term, going to be burning money with that one. Nathan finds a hand here. He's been very active, and when the active player gets a hand, a lot of the time he does get action. And Harry is going to peel the 7s here out of position, facing the 3-bet.
So nice flop turns into a nice. It doesn't. just imagine Harry peeling a 7 on the river. Oh man. So he doesn't want to see one of the 7s, and it isn't. It's an ace. It's a worst card. Probably the best card for him, but he'll feel it's a worst card. So this will go check bet fold.
Most certainly will, Tower. Can't see anything else happening, and 15 minutes left on the clock, just so we can see in the background there. And then we will head out on that hour dinner break. And back with a new feature around the 5:45 mark.
Yep. And he's not showing him the queens. No, thank you. What's Sean doing to us in the chat box? What's up, Sean? What's the matter? What's all that mean? Pardon the language. $25.25s next weekend. Walsall. If you want to play a 25-25, it's in Walsall. And the deep stacks next weekend in Didsbury, in Manchester, in Portsmouth, and in Stockton. There are the deep stacks in October, before we head to Liverpool the week after, Westgate for the deep stack in Leeds, and Luton, back here in Luton. You've got a deep stack coming up here in Luton, first weekend in November, but the 3rd of November is the start of the GUKPT, so you've got choices. You have a decision. You could.
I'm travelling down to Blackpool on the Monday anyway.
You could win the deep stack on the Sunday and travel to Blackpool and play the mini on the Monday.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
Sword.
So we're going to have some multi-way action here. Harry opening the ace-10 suited. Gets called from Craig, Nathan. And Carlos will call after limping under the gun with the King-Jack. And we're going to go 4-way to the flop. There's some action flops here with these particular holdings. This is where the dealer usually puts the 5, 6, 7 flop out there.
Oh, that's plenty of pinch.
Yeah.
That's all pinch, isn't it?
I think it is, Tower.
That could be ace, king, queen. That could be delicious for us. Flop time. What is it? What is it? Flop.
The suspense.
The suspense is killing us. What's the flop? There's a bet. We're going to see the flop. Ace, queen, jack.
So a bit of something for everyone here. Middle pair, Broadway draw for Carlos. Harry, top pair, Broadway draw. Craig, bottom pair, Broadway draw. And Nathan, middle pair for him. So Harry comes in for the continue. Craig is going to make the call with Jack 10 here. 2 players behind him. That means Nathan has an easy fold with a Queen 6. Wow, Craig's actually coming for a raise here with the Jack 10, and that's going to get Carlos out of the show. So it's back on Harry here, and he's going to be in a bit of a spot with ace 10.
He's calling. Backdoor flush draw, backdoor Broadway. Top pair.
He's definitely not folding, but straight away we've got to be starting to think of hands that Craig can have here that we're behind to. Not really too many sets, it's just 2 pair combos really, the Queen Jack, the Ace Jack, the Ace Queen, and King 10 obviously, the flop Broadway makes sense as well. And then regarding bluffs, you don't expect him to turn a hand like this into a bluff a lot of the time, so sort of his bluffs sort of become more weighted to spades. But then why are we going to bluff this spot when the early position opener continues on the board? That is very good for their range. So I think if Harry is faced from a double barrel here, gonna have to let it go. Well, I'm most certainly gonna let it go in this particular spot, facing a double barrel. Just Craig can have Queen Jack here, he can have Ace Queen, he can have Ace Jack, he can have King 10, and then it's very hard to give your opponent credit for a bluff on a board that's very good for our perceived range here as Harry. Like, this Ace Jack Queen flop's meant to be so much better for us as the opener than it is for the flatter. But Craig is going to continue. And if I'm Harry here, we are getting 3-1 on the call. I think if Craig sized up to like 6k here, 6k into 7k, I think we'd get a fold out of more ace-x hands, one pair hands. But getting this particular price, Harry may be more inclined to see a river. But what's got to be going through his head here? We just don't beat any hand that Craig is supposed to have here for value. We're basically only in front of a bluff as our Harry with the ace-10 here. Yeah, I like the fold Harry there. I think that's a good fold from Harry with ace-10. I just don't think we can call two barrels there. Just because the way the hand's played, he shouldn't really have a bluff in that spot too often, Craig, if ever. So can definitely get behind the fold there with the ace-10. Makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's the correct decision.
Mm, 10 minutes to go or so until the end of this sesh. As you can see in the background, 10:33 is the exact time, with the clock counting down to the 60-minute dinner break. Good afternoon, one and all. We are live from Luton. Raised to 500 from Chris. Ace Queen suited. Carlos coming along with Ace 10 suited. So sees 1 and 9 do battle again. Jack Queen 6. All red. So check call from Carlos, both with the ace-10 with the gut shot, the ace-queen with top pair and top kicker. Carlos, is he going to disguise it again? He does, he checks. Chris Maguire, he's not having a good time when he's facing Carlos. So, big hand for Chris, because Carlos has turned Broadway. A better 2.2 for Chris. I think Carlos will just flat again. The looks. So he does just call. Perfect. From Carlos. Or is it a raise? No, it is. It's not a call, it's a raise. The action tracker just puts it on to 5.8. And now another decision for Chris Maguire. That's a great fold from Chris. So just over 5 minutes to go until the end of the sesh, and then back at 5:45 with level number 5. First 4 levels have just about passed us by. Day 1A here in Luton. By the time we get back, the Omaha will just be about starting. 76 runners so far here in Luton. 76. That's been a little bit steady today, to be fair. 109 played last year on day 1A, and we ended up with 304. So nigh on 200 runners on Friday. It's weird how day 1As differ so much in every competition all around the world to the final buying days. And that's just the nature. Flop of ace, 8-6. Bet from Sanjay. And a win. New table will be with us. Hi Chris Belden. Watching on Twitch. New to watching poker, started watching you at Leeds. What does under the dog? I'm guessing you mean under the gun. First to act is under the gun. First person to act. So when it's your turn to play, you will be the first person to act on the table. I suppose it originated from the old under the gun, being the first to act. You then have pressure from the rest of the table, so you're feeling a bit a little bit nervous, as in under the gun. So 4-way to the flop, which is Jack A10. Top pair for Chris. Middle pair and a flush draw for Craig in C3. Nathan doesn't have much of it. Oh, he has an up-down straight draw, does Nathan? He has the up-down straight draw. And he's hit it. He's got the straight, but as you can see, he ain't big favourite to win the hand. He's only got 23% equity. Because Harry has the same 9, so they'll be chopping if we get there. Craig has still got a pair, a flush draw, and now an up and down straight draw. And more or less the same hand as Chris, but obviously Craig has got the flush draw. Intriguing turn card. Thanks a lot, Chris. As you can see in the background, the clock is counting down, and in under 2 minutes' time we'll be going on a 60-minute dinner break, so you'll have to come back at 5:45 for level number 5. All the players have gone on a 60-minute dinner break. This could actually take us to the dinner break, because that's a great pass from Chris. Up down straight draw didn't entice him in. And it pairs the Queen. So we're going to split it between Harry and Nathan. Craig and the big misses his flush draw. He misses the flush. He checks. And Nathan looks like he's checking as well. No betting involved. We've gone check, check. This looks like being the last hand because we're going to have to chop the pot. We're going to chop it up. And we will return in 60 minutes time, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the session. What a good session. Back with you at 5:45. See you in 60. We are live. We are back in Luton. This is level number 5. What we got, Jay?
Evening, everyone. New featured table coming up for the third session of the day. In 1 is Mitch Johnson. In 3 is Oliver White. In 4, Dan Jackson. In 5, Kev Charalambus. In 7, Rory Leafy. In 8 is Lee French. And in 9 is Tamer Kamal.
There we go. So let's do this. Back on the trail, level numbers 5 all the way through to level number 10, a live stream. Live stream finishing around about 12:30. What happened there?
Lee's just sat in Tamer's seat. Tamer's not here yet at the table. He's pulled Tamer's cards instead of his because he obviously would have been 10-handed on the outer table when Lee was in seat 9, and then someone's just told him that he's in that seat. So he actually mucked Tamer's hand, not his own. So he could have had aces there for all he knows, but just a little mishap. Obviously 10-handed on the outer tables, 9-handed on the feature. Evening, Gary.
Good evening, everyone, whichever platform you are watching on. Evening, Gary. What's happening in the world of the picks? What music's about, Pixie? I ain't made the touring. And Black Sabbath have cancelled the tours because Ozzy Osbourne's not well. Flush draw against Top Bear. Got a bet in a race. Bet of 800. And a call.
Yeah, no need for us to raise here as Kev. Just fine to play our flush draw passively. Ace King 8, very good flop for the opener's range.
There's the flush.
Just got a clear check here now as Danny, after the Queen of Spades rolls off on the turn. Want to be checking this one behind. And does. So we'll see a river card, which is the 3 of diamonds here. And now Kevin going to come in for some value here, and Danny might actually be able to make a fold here. The way this hand's played, if you sort of break the hand down, look at hands that Kev's going to call with on the flop. Basically, it's only flush draws and Broadway draws that are the only draws out there. So, like the Broadway draws either make a straight or catch a queen, and you expect the queen to just check and take the showdown value. So, Kev needs to specifically be turning like an 8x hand into a bluff here, like calling the flop with an 8x type hand, and then potentially turn that into a bluff on the river, which I just think is a bit too far-fetched. So I think Danny will get away from this one with the ace-5. There's just nothing we beat, and it's a good fold set. Didn't get married to top pair. Didn't put a penny in once he was behind. And in 10 minutes time our side event kicks off, the 456 Omaha.
Yes.
It's 2,600.
So level number 5, all the way through to level number 10, live stream finishing about midnight. And as Jay has just said, the Omaha is starting around 6 PM, or at 6 PM. And the numbers in the club tell us that the main event is slowly creepy catchy monkey. We're on 80 now. So 80 players in the mix. We know they need 200 players to hit the guarantee. We don't ever for 1 minute think that that's ever going to be in danger at all, because Friday's in Luton. Mad busy.
So folds around the Kev on the button. Should be opening this. 10-9 off, fine to open once folded to us. Lee will get out of the way in the small. He's not going to be continuing with 8-5. I say he's not going to be continuing with 8-5. Ah, okay. This is a bit of a different dynamic. There's no big blind. Tamer isn't at the table, so Lee is the effective big blind in the way. He does have to flick in a few more extra chips to make the call, but was only called because of the reason that Tamer isn't at the table, so there's no big. Has turned a gut shot here, so he's going to come in for a lead after picking up a smidge of equity on the turn. Kev just checked back his middle pair for this reason on the flop to be able to call turn. It's actually a 10, King 10-6 flop, guys. Some reason the 10 of hearts is registered as the Jack of hearts.
Just message David.
So board's King 10-6-4-5, guys. The Jack of hearts is actually the 10 of hearts. So it's actually Kevin with the check mark here with 10-9, and he's going to take that pot. So just a bit of a graphic error there.
What happened there?
That was just a check flop. Lee led turn with his gut shot, caught showdown on the river, and it just went check. How we doing, Beanie Man? On Twitch and Carpet Catcher as well.
Oi oi, the old carpet catcher. How are you?
Danny under the gun, A7 of spades. I'm going to be opening here. I like to, when I'm coming in for the open, I'm going to be opening all my suited aces. Almost every position, unless there's some sort of dynamic at the table, which means you have to fold. Short stacks that can shove over the top of your open. But fine from Danny here to open this hand under the gun. But Tamer with kings and not at the table.
They're not very often shown, are they? The cards in the boxes when the players aren't there, but that was. Where are you, Mr. Tamer? So the last shout live for the Omaha. You ever played Omaha?
Yeah.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I play. I used to play a lot of DC about a year or so ago. I used to play DC twice a week, which Omaha was involved in, but you don't really play. I don't think played too many Omaha comps in my lifetime. I've got 2 CCCOP bracelets in Omaha.
2 what?
CCCOP bracelets in Omaha.
What's that?
There's a little
cricket club.
There's a little private place that holds a poker festival once every year for a week, and it's called the CCCOP. Yeah, double Omaha bracelet champion.
Brilliant.
So it's the only thing I can win in that festival, though. But other than that, don't get too much chance to play it nowadays. But it's a great game, Omaha. It's a really fun game to play. So much strategy as well that people don't realise. So Lee opening King Queen suited in the cut-off. Gets resistance from Mitch and Danny in the blinds. Danny decided to peel the 8 deuce off.
That gets wet. 7 of diamonds on the turn.
We're going to try and do a competition round it.
Now Mitch actually going to come in for a lead here, ripping 10. Danny and Lee both going to have to fold, unfortunately. We can be drawing dead a lot of the time in this spot as Danny, so we don't really want to put another chip in the pot. I know we can see we've got the best hand here, but we've just got to let this one go, and it does, and Lee's going to do the same. And nice little pickup from there, and Mitch with the worst of it.
Here he comes, sits in seat 9. Just folded King's Pre.
Yeah, a bit tight, Tamer. I think I prefer 3-bet in that spot, but each to their own.
Will you just pass us out tissue, please?
What's Tamer up to here in the cut-off?
I think it's the Kings.
Just sat down at the table.
Yeah.
I want to play a pot. Which actually, he's picked a really nice spot to actually do this. I don't know if he picked up on something from the way Dan opened, but Dan getting out of line himself, opening 10-9 off under the gun, should be a fold. And then Kev decided to peel the 5-3 off under the gun +1. And Tamer comes in with a 3-bet with the Jack-4 suited. This is a 1k, guys. Don't don't adjust your screens. This is a 1k buy-in. And if you are sitting at home watching it and you can stump up the buy-in, it's more reason to get yourself down here tomorrow. Nice little pick up from Tamer with the Jack-4. Hand selection, probably better hands to do it with, but I'm sure he would have had his reasons. It worked.
So Luton is over the 80 mark. 200,000 guaranteed.
He's playing the Panthers. OJ Howard. He scored 0 against them.
Flop time, ace 5, jack 2 spades.
And this pot's going to go to Danny more often than not after opening on the button. Ace high board. We've got the betting lead. We want to be continuing here. We also have equity to the nuts as well in a 7. So, very surprised if Danny in seat 2 didn't come in for a continue on this board. He does, and that will be it. Daniel in 4 just can't continue here with jack 10. Has to let this one go. Oh, okay, he's going to pull out the float, out of position. Okay, that makes more sense. It's actually the jack of hearts, not the 8 of hearts there. So I think there's some issues with the old hearts in the deck, guys. Flop is ace 5 jack, so that makes a lot more sense why Daniel has called on the flop, and the turn is actually a 9. So a pair of 9s for Danny, and Daniel with a pair of jacks. So Daniel with the check mark at the moment. Incoming a double, a barrel from the 9-6 of Danny. I thought Danny may elect to check this once we pick up some showdown value on the 9 turn. Right, okay, I don't think it's just come back to me now. I don't think Tamer had jack 4 of hearts. I think he must have. Seems like the hearts are registering as different hearts. 6 of hearts as a 9 of hearts, 8 of hearts as a jack of hearts. So we will be on the case, guys, and get everything up and running smoothly again as soon as possible. But we can still see the board. We know that Daniel actually has the best hand here on the river, not Danny. So it's down to Danny whether he wants to go for the 3rd barrel here and really put some pressure. Wow, now Daniel's going to come out and lead here with just 2nd pair, 10 kicker. So Danny thinking about heroing here with just a 9. And it's not actually the best hand, so a bit of a merge here on the river from Dan. And I'd be very surprised if Danny in 2 called this off and does just get out of the way. And not that he knows it, but Daniel actually with the best hand there, a pair of jacks.
So yeah, the cards will get changed. It must have been a registration problem.
Yeah, Paul, the 10 of hearts on that board was registered, or the 8 of hearts was registered as the jack of hearts for some reason. There was a jack on that board. It was an ace jack 5 flop, 9 on the turn, king on the river. So yeah, there was a jack on the flop. We saw it on the flop cam. It was just some problems with the whole cards at the moment, but we're on the case. Make do with what we got at the moment, as we see Mitch come in for an open in the hijack. Oliver flattened the button. with more dead money in there, I expect Dan to come in for a squeeze here. Flatten's fine too. And does squeeze the 3k, and Kev with jacks behind him here. So hijack open, flat from the button, 3-bet from the small, and you're sat with jacks in the big. I'm most certainly not folding this as Kev. It's just whether we're coming in for a cold 4 or whether we're just going to take the passive approach and make the call, and he opts for the latter. The thing is, ranges aren't as strong as they could be. If it's an early position open, it's a bit different, but hijack open here, Mitch in the hijack. Mitch, a good player, going to be opening a wide variety of hands, and then Oliver's flat. You expect Oliver to 3-bet most of his strong range, so he's pretty capped. And then you've got the small blind 3-bet here, and Dan doesn't necessarily have to have the top of his range when he 3-bets out the small, because of a hijack open and a button flat. He can 3-bet hands like ace 10 there. He may incorporate some 8s and 9s in, so we can't just fold the jacks as Kev. Need to be continuing, and he's opted to continue with just the flat as the king, queen, 8, 2 spade board rolls off, and this should go check check. Be very surprised if we saw anything different. We should be taking a turn. Kev's actually come in for a bet here, and so it's actually Daniel coming in for a bet, guys. Bet of 2.1k from Daniel. It's actually Kev in the tank here with the jacks, and he is going to make the call. I'm not a fan of the bet here from Daniel. I think we've got to check this spot. We're only getting continues from a better hand, and there's no real equity denial case because the only bad card to peel off is an ace. There's only 3 of them left in the deck, assuming our opponent has one, so that's only going to roll off around 7% of the time. So I much prefer a check on the flop after 3-betting the 10s, but came in for a small bet. But it's just like when we come in for that bet as Daniel, when we get called a lot of the time, we're just going to be behind. And I can't see another bet going in from either player unless a jack or 10 rolls off on the river. And this should almost always go check check, which is a little bit too far up our range to start turning 10s into a bluff here. I think it's Dan. I think it's fine. We do still beat some hands. We beat ace jack, we beat ace 10, we beat some nut flush draws, we beat some 8x with backdoors that elected to call flop, like some 8x suited. So it does go check check, and the jacks are good. And Kev going to take a nice one.
Crypto Sky Green says this is not live. They went for dinner an hour ago. Yeah, we've had a 60-minute dinner break, and now we are live.
We are live
because we're back. Hello. It's 10 past 6 in the evening. Emmerdale's on at 7.
Is that still going, Emmerdale?
Of course. Of course.
I don't watch soaps, I don't.
I watch Emmerdale, and that's it. But I don't watch it religiously. I watch it whenever I'm in, which isn't very often.
Yeah, you're always on holiday.
Well. So yeah. So we are, as you know, the live streams run on a 30-minute delay. But that's as live as we get, and always has done on the GUKPT since we started back in the day.
Exactly, Jim. Spot on. Couldn't have put it better myself. I'm not going to read it out, but you are spot on with that one, Jim.
I ain't even seen what he says, but it'll be something like made in Chelsea or
Love Island.
Or Love. There you go, Love Island. What's he put? More of a Love Island man, Jay. Yeah, that's exactly right. There you go.
So a nice little play there from Lee, coming in for the 3-bet bluff with the old blocker, ace 4 off. Mitch going to open the King Jack under the gun. Which means Danny's going to be forced to fold the 10-8 of spades, facing under the gun open. We want to continue here, plays much better as a 3-bet, but just think we're going to get better spots throughout the day. But does choose to call. Danny, off of his 14k stack, obviously wants to play some post-flop, but there's another 7 players behind us, potential for someone to squeeze. But it looks like it's got round to the big, and we are going to get to see a flop as Danny.
Alan Bennett says big up to Danny, one of the Hemel mob. Is that like the Hendon mob?
Hemel mob.
Hemel mob. Maybe like Hemel Hempstead. Is it Hemel Hempstead?
Jamie's from up north, I think. I don't think he's from Hemel. Hemel's not far from me. I'm pretty sure he's a northerner, old Jamie.
So Danny in C2.
So Mitch got an easy continue here with the King Jack, like it. Not going to work because Tamer has caught middle pair, but Danny's going to get out of the way with his 10 height. And Tamer should be calling once here, and does. And we will take a turn, which is the Jack of Spades. So Tamer should be checking. You expect that Mitch to check behind now. Picked up some showdown. But we're not going to get ace-x to fold, so if we come in for a double barrel here, we're basically targeting queen-x hands and some flush draws. So Mitch is going to come in for a double barrel here. So basically this bet only achieves folding out. We're not going to fold out the ace-x, they have to call once more. Like, we basically just target the queen-x hands here when we come in for this double barrel as Mitch. Now Tamer with the queen 9 here. Probably just going to get out of the way. Under the gun open from Mitch. He's got ace queen in there, he's got ace jack in there, he's got queens in there, he's got aces in there, he's got ace king, deuces. Plenty of hands you can have for value. Queen jack probably not in there as much because you expect him to check though, that type of holding on the flop when you go three-way. So Tamer does think better of it and get behind the fold. I'm definitely probably letting that one go facing the second barrel, but quite lucky that Tamer had the specific part of his range that bet sort of targets to fold out. Just think a lot of the time obviously ace-x isn't going to fold to a second barrel, and we're ahead of some hands once we catch the jack on the turn.
The Omaha started with 21. Thought there'd been a lot more than that.
Yeah,
in Luton.
so yeah.
Thought there'd been a good 60 runners, 70, 65 runners in the Omaha. We'll keep his eye on that. 21 runners just started the Omaha. 82 in the main. There seems to have been a relatively quiet day for some strange reason. There won't be a seat in the house tomorrow, you bet.
They'll put us in here with us, Tower.
If they could fit.
Yeah, carpet catcher said Jamie is from Leeds.
Leeds. How is Jamie Nix getting on? Says Mr. Shepherd. How are we doing, Luce? No Sheps. How are we doing? We'll try and find out her chip stack on Jamie Nix.
Tamer with the old Jack 4 of hearts again, and I'm guessing it's not Jack 4 of hearts because we saw him 3-bet this hand about 15 minutes ago. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's like maybe Queen Jack of hearts or King Jack of hearts, Jack 10 of hearts. One of those type of holdings. So Lee opts to check behind. Ace of diamonds on the turn. So Lee going to come in for a bet here. This is just to do with range. Ace comes on the turn. We're going to have a lot more ace X in our range than Lee is in the small. Then Tamer is in the small. So we're going to bet and get the fold. Harvey, good evening. Evening all. Do we know if Joe is playing tomorrow? I'm not sure. I haven't seen Joe since the Goliath, Harvey. It's been a while since I saw Mr. Beavers. But
is that the Joe we're on about? Yeah. If that's the Joe we are on about, Mr. Beavers, I thought he'd have been playing today in the Omaha and tomorrow in the main event. I know Jeff Kimber can't make it for whatever reason. He's had to pass on Luton.
Raise 700. Raise 2800.
Blinds 150, 300 with that big blind ante.
Kev going to be opening the Jack 8 suited under the gun +1.
Next up on the GUKPT, the final two legs of 2019, Blackpool and London. Both have fantastic schedules. Blackpool has an event Wednesday afternoon and the satellite Wednesday evening. £165 comp Wednesday afternoon at 4:30. It will be a busy one.
Mitch makes it 700 to go in the cut-off with the King Jack. And Dan going to flick in defend with 6-4. This is fine. Always talk about big blind defend range. When you get such a good price, you can defend very wide if you are comfortable playing post-flop out of position. If you feel like you're not going to make any mistakes. See the ace-8-4 flop, which is rainbow, so this should go check bet call. Mitch expect to continue ace high board, fairly dry, but seems like anything I say Mitch wants to do the opposite, so he checks behind. And that turn is the 5 of diamonds, so we can go either way here as Dan. We can go check or we can bet. We do have showdown with our 4, we'll be ahead of some hands. But it looks like Mitch is done with a hand here, unless he catches a king or jack on the river. Wrong paint for him. So this should just go check, check, tower. I doubt Mitch is going to bluff at it now. Our king high can still be good at showdown as well against big blind calling range. So I'd be very surprised if... Oh no, he just sort of has a knack of knowing when to bet, Mitch. Saw it a couple of hands ago with a king jack in a spot which was a pretty clear check spot from a game theory perspective, but it just seems to know when to fire. And once again, it's going to work here, and
indeed it does.
Very
Mitch.
Good instincts to not check that one behind. Maybe just news behind.
So the cards are out again. Level number 5 of the day. Play 10 levels. Live stream finishing around about 12:30. A full 12 hours on the live stream each day here in Luton and all GUKPTs.
So Tamer opening the 7-5 off under the gun +1, and be very surprised if that's the case for Tamer here. Going to guess that 5 of hearts is maybe a 7 of hearts. And Oliver peeling the 9-8 of hearties on the button.
Ace, Queen, 6, 2 hearts. Oliver flops the flush draw and has the best of it.
Let's say Tamer has got 7s here. I'm still going to be coming in for a bet here with the under the gun +1 opener. I'm just going to bet range in this spot. We're going to have all the ace-x, we're going to have queens. It's just one of them boards that's a lot better for us than it is for Oliver. But Oliver, with his flush draw, will not be going anywhere. He'll make the call in position. And does actually turn a double gutter now, so Jack or 7 would actually make Oliver a straight to go with his flush draw here, and Tamer should be coming in for a check now, especially against a button calling range. Tamer's going to have King Jack in there, he's going to have some Queen 10s, he's going to have Ace 10, and if we just got 7s, which I think Tamer has. And once again, Tamer's got a pretty clear check here. Oliver, same as before, Queen X heavy. Especially once he checks back turn as well, like all his King Queens, Queen Jacks, Queen 9 suited, gonna check back turn as well. But it looks like Tamer is gonna come in for a bet, and Oliver can't do much here with just 9 height. He'll have to get out of the way. He hasn't got 9 high. And Tamer just mucks. We'll never know. Did Oliver just call with 9? That can't be right, can it?
Did you say that was Queen 9?
Yes, I think
9
so.
might be the Queen.
The 9. Oh, yeah. The 9 of hearts is the Queen of hearts.
Yeah, the deck, there we go. There's the change of deck.
There we go. Back to
the
normal.
word got out. Obviously, because we're on a 30-minute delay, if there is any faults. I didn't get the hint. I don't know. Got to learn him these things. So, new deck. Fingers crossed everything gets sorted regarding the hearts.